The reopening of South Africa's borders after 6 months of lockdown improved tourism in the Western Cape. Joined now by Wesgro's head of the Convention Bureau, Corne Koch. Good evening, Corne. So just tell us a little bit more, your reaction to the news this evening, that the red list, as I'm calling it, has changed from 60 restricted countries to 22. The USA, the UK, still on that list. But if you're prepared to come to South Africa for 3 months, you can stay and you don't have any of those restrictions. What is your response to this much shorter list? Is this good news for the industry in your view?
Good evening, Sally. So, yes, I think we don't even want to say that it's not the best news. South Africa, the airlines, the hospitality industry, tourism industry, they've all demonstrated that we can actually open safely. The list includes the major source markets to South Africa, specifically for the Western Cape. Just in 2019, we had over 190 or close to 195,000 visitors just from the United Kingdom. So, and this is the season that the Western Cape welcomes its high season. It's in South Africa, but through the Western Cape, and visitors of those markets are preparing for their festive season holidays. And with the announcement of the list, it obviously creates a whole bunch of uncertainty for travel operators and for a visitor itself to now plan. So it's an immediate barrier to entry or to do any planning of any sorts within the next month. It's a critical month that actually we do know and who and what and who is allowed. So it's not positive to the sector at all. It's a major blow, really, at the moment.
Yeah. So the list has gone from 60 down to 22. Will that not in itself mean more people can come to South Africa?
So although the list is adapted, it's adapted weekly or bi-weekly, every second week. So it is difficult to make those decisions. Although the list is shorter, it's not the core markets to the Western Cape, as I've explained, and those are pretty much basically all of Europe, the United Kingdom, France, Netherlands. Those are key source markets to the Western Cape. So it does make it really difficult to adapt and to now make plans of when that would allow.
And
I think
sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I think the position is really who's allowed and under what conditions. So the efforts of governments and then the private sectors to make an understanding of the fact that a business traveller has these conditions, but a leisure traveller cannot be allowed. And, there are conditions. South Africa is demonstrating that it has the correct health and safety, and the industry is demonstrating that. So it is difficult to understand why a business traveller could be allowed under certain circumstances and not a leisure traveller.
Chatting to the Home Affairs Minister a little earlier, the impression I got, first of all, he said that the original criteria for that list, which was, according to the WHO, was far too complicated. He said the Cabinet decided to look at absolute numbers, which in itself seems problematic, because if you're looking at a small country, they're going to have less numbers. So I wasn't too clear on how that's going to work. But added to that, we've got 3 new countries on the list: Germany, Spain and Canada. Critical countries for coming to South Africa. And listening to the Tourism Business Council, speaking to my colleague Rapiwa earlier, there are panicked phone calls from people who've already made bookings. The issue is, you might be on the unrestricted list this week, but you might not be next week. Surely that lack of certainty is our biggest problem. But how do you get around it when it's an uncertainty faced by every country across the globe?
It's what you say, and it's the correct communication, and it's really making it, doing enough marketing that your travellers are familiar with the destination, that you make them understand we haven't gone away, we're out there with you. If you want to come here, we'd like to see how we can help you to visit. But the major challenge is exactly what you're saying, is the whole reasoning behind that. There's no greater risk in the transmission of the virus again, based on the purpose of travel. And if you are allowed, if you leave a country that you even already paying to leave, because you're already going through the motions of doing the funds, or rather taking out money to then do your tests and do the due diligence that's required from your own home country to leave to another country, and wanting to make that investment, I think the industry feels that that should be allowed. If a country can show that it can accommodate like health and safety and protocols, but it must be demonstrated. So you want to be able to, and so the reasoning there, or rather the motive, is then to, like we are doing in the Western Cape, is to do some top of mind awareness in our key source markets and to be there ready and helping and answering where we can in terms of accommodating any requests or helping where we can.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. That was Wesgro's head of the Convention Bureau.